So, you're thinking about opening a gym, rent a building, line it with machines, wait for the memberships to pour in. Honestly, that's not a terrible starting point. Walk into almost any gym on a weeknight, and it looks like the simplest business on earth. Every machine is busy. The front desk has a queue. People are everywhere. You look at that and think, this place must be swimming in cash. More bodies, more members, more money. Easy. Except that one crowded hour is the biggest illusion in the entire industry. Here's the real truth. A gym isn't a fitness business. It's a subscription company that happens to have squat racks in it. Once you accept that, every part of how gyms actually make and lose money starts to click into place. What it really costs to open the doors. Not all gyms are the same animal. A budget chain charging $10 to $25 a month survives purely on volume. Thousands of members crammed into one warehouse-sized location, run by a tiny staff. A step up, you've got the standard commercial gym, weights plus cardio plus classes, usually $40 to $70 a month. Then, luxury clubs at $150 plus, selling a lifestyle more than a workout. Boutique studios build a whole brand around one class style. And at the very bottom of the size scale, one-on-one training studios sell nothing but your coach's time. Every one of these is really answering the same question. Do you make money from a huge crowd paying a little or a small group paying a lot? Now here's where people get it wrong from day one. They assume the equipment is the expensive part. It's not. The real cost is turning an empty shell of a room into something legally and physically able to hold sweating bodies. Landlords typically want 3 to 6 months of rent upfront before you've touched a wall. Then the build-out. Rubber flooring alone can run tens of thousands of dollars. Locker rooms and plumbing another huge chunk. Mirrors adding thousands more. And then there's the cost nobody prices in properly. Air. A packed gym floor needs serious mechanical ventilation because codes require a set amount of fresh air per person, per minute. Run the math on a busy floor, and you're not talking about a fan. You're talking about a full HVAC overhaul that can add tens of thousands more. Add licensing, insurance, opening marketing, and a cash cushion. And a mid-sized gym can easily need anywhere from a few $100,000 to well over $1 million just to unlock the front door. The equipment trap. A commercial treadmill alone can cost thousands, and you need a dozen of them minimum. Strength machines, racks, benches. The full equipment bill for a real gym floor can land anywhere from tens of thousands to $250,000. Buy outright, and you drain the cash reserve you'll desperately need in those uncertain early months. Lease instead, and you keep monthly payments small, but leasing carries real interest costs, and the payments don't care whether your gym is thriving or empty. Either way, you've locked in a hard monthly obligation that exists whether 10 people or 1,000 walk through your door. Location is not what you think. Most first-time owners believe good location just means lots of people nearby. It's far narrower than that. The vast majority of any gym's membership comes from a tight radius, roughly a 10 to 15-minute drive or ride, nothing more. That's your entire market. Inside that small circle, your pricing has to match the local income level. A $150 a month luxury club dropped into a budget neighborhood will fail no matter how nice the equipment is, and rent per square foot in a high-visibility city spot can be 5 or 6 times higher than in a quiet suburb. Pick the wrong side of that gap, and you've committed to a rent bill your neighborhood simply can't support. The real secret: the member who never shows up. Here's the idea that explains almost everything else about this industry. Imagine 2 types of new members. One shows up 3 times a week, every week, for a year. The other comes twice in January, feels good, and never returns, while still paying every single month. Which one is more valuable to the gym? The second one, by a mile. The frequent visitor uses hot water, wears down machines, needs towels, and crowds the floor during peak hours. Every visit has a real cost. The no-show costs the gym almost nothing, while their payment lands like clockwork every month, flowing straight to profit. Industry data consistently shows roughly 2/3 of gym members rarely or never actually use the gym they're paying for. That's not a flaw in the system. It is the system. A building with thousands of members could never physically fit even a fraction of them on the floor at once. Fire codes wouldn't allow it. So the business isn't selling floor access. It's selling a bet that most people won't use what they bought, and a huge share won't use it at all. The forgotten membership sitting quietly on someone's bank stated to me. Bank statement is one of the most profitable customers a gym will ever have. The January wave and the summer drop. A massive share of annual signups happens in a single month, driven by New Year's resolutions. Owners lean into it hard with discounted joining fees and heavy ad spend. But the wave that rushes in fades just as fast. Roughly half of new members stop showing up within 6 months, and a huge share of January joiners have vanished by summer. Smart owners bank that January cash as a reserve to survive the quiet months. Owners who spend it like it's permanent income get caught badly off guard. Franchise or independent? A franchise gives you a known brand, a proven layout, and better equipment pricing. Valuable, especially for a first-timer. But it isn't free. Expect a hefty upfront franchise fee, an ongoing royalty cut of your monthly revenue, and a contribution to a shared marketing fund. Go independent, and you keep every dollar you make, but you're building brand trust from zero. Why canceling is always harder than joining? Why do people keep paying for something they don't use? Optimism about a future version of themselves. The idea that the payment itself is what will force them to go. And plain inertia. Canceling means admitting the plan didn't work, and for a small monthly fee, most people would rather just not deal with it. Gyms design around this reality. Clean layouts reduce intimidation for beginners. Lighting is chosen deliberately. Brighter and harder in the weight room, softer in recovery spaces. Even the music tempo is picked to help people push through workouts. None of it is decoration. All of it is designed to keep members emotionally attached, whether or not they ever come back. And that's exactly why canceling a gym membership is almost never as easy as signing up for one. Many contracts demand written notice, sometimes only by mail, with weeks of advance warning that guarantees at least one more billed month. Expired cards and failed payments alone account for a huge chunk of all cancellations, enough that gyms run entire teams just chasing down billing failures. This friction hasn't escaped regulators' attention either, with growing pushes at both the national and city level to make canceling as easy as signing up. Think about what that tells you. If a gym's survival depended on happy, regularly attending members, it wouldn't need to make leaving this difficult. The cost. Nobody warns you about. Here's a hidden expense that blindsides almost every new owner: music licensing. Playing background music commercially isn't like playing it at home. Businesses are legally required to hold public performance licenses, often from multiple rights organizations at once. The combined annual bill for one location can run into the thousands. Skip it, and the risk isn't small. Statutory damages for unlicensed use can run from hundreds to well over $100,000 per song if a court decides it was intentional. A personal streaming subscription on the sound system is not the same thing, and that gap in understanding has burned plenty of owners. That's just one example of the bigger lesson here. The real costs rarely show up on the equipment catalog. They're buried in lease clauses, licensing terms, and maintenance contracts nobody reads until something breaks. And plenty breaks. Equipment repair alone can run a few $1,000s a month, and utilities for a space running constant ventilation and hot water can run thousands more. When the model breaks, even at massive scale. This isn't theoretical. Some of the largest gym chains in history collapsed, not because people stopped wanting to exercise, but because they built their empire on aggressive long-term contracts and heavy debt rather than sustainable member value. When legal and financial pressure mounted, scale wasn't enough to save them. Packed parking lots told everyone the business was thriving. The books told a different story. The actual math strip away the noise, and the core formula is simple: monthly dues times number of members minus fixed costs. A gym with roughly $30,000 in monthly fixed costs, charging about $90 a member, needs somewhere around 330 plus paying members just to break even. Past that number, since inactive members cost almost nothing, additional members are close to pure profit.
The catch? New gyms rarely hit break-even on day one. It can take well over a year to get there, burning through cash reserves the whole time. And membership isn't a stable, ever-growing number. Annual churn typically runs 30 to 40%. Lose that share every year, and you have to replace hundreds of members just to stand still. That's not growth. That's treading water. This is exactly where personal training becomes so valuable. A coach training clients one-on-one hits a hard income ceiling fast, since there are only so many hours in a day. Small group training breaks that ceiling. 4 clients paying a smaller rate each can add up to nearly double the hourly revenue of one-on-one work, even after the gym pays the trainer's commission. 2 very different endings. In the best case version of this business, you picked the right neighborhood, hit your break-even target on schedule, kept churn low, and built a strong training program. Under those conditions, a mid-sized independent gym can pull in real profit and hand its owner a genuinely solid income. In the realistic version, 2 or 3 ordinary things go slightly wrong. Churn runs a bit high, a cheaper competitor opens nearby, repairs cost more than expected, and that same gym can slide from healthy profit into a loss during a slow season, while the parking lot outside still looks perfectly full. So if you're serious about opening a gym, remember the one thing that actually decides whether you win or lose. It was never really about how many people you can sign up. It's about how well you can survive on the ones who quietly stop showing up. If this broke down the business side of gyms in a way that actually made sense, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Subscribe if you want more deep dives like this one, breaking down how everyday businesses really make their money. And drop a comment below. Would you ever open a gym after hearing all this? Or does this change your mind completely? See you in the next one.